right, well, I've been talking to a couple of you for a while, but my name is Crystal Chester. I'm a functional and clinical dietitian, and I practice clinically at Stonecrest Medical Center in Smyrna, but I also have my own practice, and that's where I practice more functional nutrition, functional medicine, and I work with doctors around the area who are also more functional minded. We like to see a problem and not just see, okay, what do we need to do now? We kind of see, like, why is this happening? Why does somebody have brain fog? Why is their adrenals not working well? Why are they tired all the time? Kind of putting more pieces together instead of just going more the conventional route. Definitely medicine is needed, and I'm very thankful that it's here, but I really truly believe that food is medicine and that we can really do a lot of prevention and just feel so much better if we nourish our foods properly and, you know, kind of just do what, sleep well and stress less and that kind of thing. And so that's kind of what functional nutrition and functional medicine is. We kind of just take the whole person and assess the whole person and try to just put the pieces together, kind of see what's going on. And I love all areas of nutrition, but that is definitely my favorite. Working with people who have had like traumatic brain injury and all of a sudden like they don't have, like, their blood sugar's not kind of, their blood sugar's out of whack, or their thyroid's out of whack, that kind of thing, and just trying to fix what happened and help give them hope, really. I feel like we're sicker than ever, fatter than ever, you know, more depressed than ever. Like, the depression meds are almost one of the top meds now being sold worldwide, and anxiety is real high, and, you know, people just don't know what to do. They can't sleep, so they're on melatonin, and it's like, no, we need to see why your melatonin isn't higher at night, you know, because melatonin will help for the night, but that's not really figuring out why. So that is what I do. Now, I do these classes all over the area in different libraries, but one of the main things I get, questions I get asked is like, what do you make for lunch? Because I'm a mom of 3, and my mother-in-law lives with us too, so we have a house of 6 and things get crazy. And I'm also just trying to make conscious, you know, giving them good stuff the best that I can. I've also learned that everybody's idea of healthy is different. Come on in. You're fine. And grab an outline while you're there. Okay, we still have plates. Perfect. So everybody's idea of healthy is different. Some people, like, they don't want any grains or any gluten. Other people, you know, they're fine with that, but they don't want any dairy. Other people, you know, don't even think about microwaving their food, or they won't even touch it. You know, it's like, it's so different for everybody. Come on in. Hi, you're fine. You want to sign in and get an outline? Oh, you're good. Yeah. So what I did with this is, because everybody kind of has a different idea of kind of what healthy is, I kind of just used the top ingredients if you are going to eat these sort of things. So, like, if, you know, grains are totally fine, I use sprouted grains, and say, like, dairy, you're okay with dairy. You know, there's just like the top shelf of certain kinds of foods, especially here. You know, we have very low grade type foods, and so that's kind of what I used here. The one thing that I had, this is organic chicken, because that's my personal thing. If I'm ever gonna go organic, or if I'm ever trying to make sure my money goes somewhere, I always do organic meat, just because meat is so, it can get so gross if it's not organic, you know, with the antibiotics and the growth hormones and all that kind of stuff. So if any of you guys are conscious about what kind of meat you get, this is organic chicken. Just let you know. Okay, so with this, I also want to let you know this is not my forte at all. I come in here and I teach about leaky gut, and I talked about, like, resetting your adrenals and that sort of thing. But when it comes to actually food and, like, preparing, I was supposed to do this class with a friend who is a foodie. Does anybody have a friend who's a foodie? Who really just, I've, like, learned I need this kind of friend, because they will point out the most coolest stuff, and I'm like, I had no idea that even existed. And so that's kind of, I started talking to her, and she pointed to me, hey, you want to sign in and get you're fine, get an outline. Yeah. And so they give you, like, different ingredients that you're unaware of, and it really just spices things up. But the biggest concept here that I want you to get is that, wait, I'll come back to that. Okay, so the top must-haves for making over your lunchbox. for any meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, it needs to have protein, carbs, and fat. Like, don't be afraid of fat. So we're kind of coming off of that wave of, you know, low fat everything and take out fat and everything. And have you ever wondered how people have like just a smoothie and they're not starving by like an hour later? It's because it has to have protein, carbs, and fat. So we definitely need fat, but not a ton of it. Now we're, you know, people are doing super, super high fat, and there's a time for that, but it's more for like someone who's critically ill. But actually, I'll go on to the next one, but lunches actually need to have a small amount of carbs for stable energy. So does anybody ever like get like the afternoon sleepies? Like say you eat like around lunch, yeah, you eat like around lunch, and I'm totally there with you. And sometimes it is just like, I just want a nap. And then sometimes it's like, no, I physiologically need a nap. And that's kind of a sign that you've had too much carbohydrate for lunchtime. Now the way the body works is actually we need a higher protein breakfast in the morning. To wake us up, our body naturally releases glucose into the bloodstream from the liver and our muscles to help wake us up in the morning. Well, in America, we tend to have a higher carbohydrate breakfast, right? It's like cereal, and it's waffles, and it's pastries, and it's bagels, and it's all these carbs, and then we kind of don't have energy throughout the day, or we can't really think clearly throughout the day. So if we want stable energy, stable focus, you need to have more of a protein-heavy breakfast. Not like you can't have any carbohydrates, but just to balance that out. And especially if you have like a diet mindset, the way the body works, melatonin actually needs more carbohydrates. So if you're ever somebody who's like, oh, I can't eat after 4, or I can't eat after 6, that's gonna mess with your sleep cycles and mess with melatonin. I'm kind of getting off subject, but I'm trying to give you guys like the whole thing here. So lunch needs to be kind of in between that. It needs to have a little bit of carb, but not so much it's gonna make you sleepy, you know, a couple hours later. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. Okay, so this is like the #1 thing I want you guys to get from this. So a lot of you guys came here because you need like different ideas, or maybe you're just trying to make your lunchbox a little healthier. One of my big beliefs is that health is not supposed to be that hard. It's like sometimes we get so fed up with something, and then we try to make like try to completely turn around and like go that way, and it never stays the same. Like we learned that in elementary school, like the tortoise always wins. Like slow and steady wins the race. And so with making over your lunchbox and making it healthier, no matter if you're just trying to like get new ideas or just trying to, you know, get more nutrition in, just change one thing, just one thing. And that's really hard for people sometimes. They're like, that's not enough. I'm like, no, but it's sustainable. You can keep doing it for a long time, and you'll be actually really surprised how much one change really changes it up. Like just think about your lunchbox, right? And the majority of people only eat like 12 to 15 different foods. Okay, like picture your breakfast options. It's probably only like 2 to 3 different things. You probably wake up, first thing you're probably like, it's either this, this, or this. And you pick one. And then lunch is usually maybe 4-ish things. And you pick one, right? And then usually dinner is more, hi, come on in. You're fine. If you'll sign in, and also there's your handout or your outline. And then dinner is where we kind of get more flexible. We kind of start getting more ideas thanks to Pinterest, right? Because there's so many ideas like everywhere. But we all tend to kind of just stick with the same kind of foods. And even if we go out to dinner, like say we really like Mexican food and we're kind of used to our same Mexican food place, and we always get fajitas. Well, even if you try a new Mexican place, you kind of like, well, let me try their fajitas. Like we don't really go too far outside of kind of what we're used to. And so with this, the easiest way to start making over your lunchboxes is to start with like the staples of what you're used to, but then change it up a little bit. And that's kind of what examples that I brought you guys today. And the last thing before I start giving out examples is you have to have a plan. There's nothing more frustrating than just, you know, just throwing something together. And guys, there's gonna be times where you are just gonna throw something together, and just know it's totally okay for something to be healthy enough. Like sometimes we just get so focused on, oh, it's not right, and this is garbage or whatever, but it's okay for things to be healthy enough on those days where you don't have a plan, or you just really don't care. Like, you gotta accept life and those days in between as well. Okay, so, is anybody, who here is a tuna fan? Yeah? Awesome. Tell me how y'all make tuna. This is like one of the most versatile things. Before making this class, when I would ask people how they make tuna, it was unbelievable how many, like, people were like, I was raised with apples and mayo and relish. And I was like, apples? I've never heard of apple. And somebody else would say something completely different. And so I was like, this is the most versatile lunch option I have ever. So tell me, how have you guys?
I just put mayonnaise and, pickled relish and maybe celery.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
not.
Maybe
Depends on the. Okay. See, I've never heard of carrots.
Yeah.
Cool.
Or eggs, boiled eggs.
Yes, eggs. I was saying carrots would be pretty. It would make it a little colorful. What else? How do you make yours?
Sometimes I just make a sandwich but don't put anything else on it, or just put mayonnaise.
So you would just do plain?
Yes.
It's like tuna and meat and bread?
Yes.
Nice.
And then so you tuna steaks.
Yeah.
So I just.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
How about you?
Very similar along the lines of just very kind of for a sandwich type thing, but I usually will take the refrigerator pickles and chop them up and put them in there and dip veggies in it. Sometimes if I don't do a sandwich or a cracker or something.
Right. And that's a way to make it healthier. Like if it's a sandwich, you do celery or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, that's good. And so with that same concept, so like say you're used to grabbing tuna for probably a lunch, I was doing that same thing. And like my growing up, it was mayo and sweet relish. That was it. And it was a lot of sweet relish. But my kids, they loved it for the longest time. And I could start telling they weren't really digging it as much. And so before I totally wanted to ruin them completely on tuna fish, because, I got to have my staples too of my go-to. I was like, okay, how can I change this a little bit to where I'm still kind of used to making tuna, and that's more kind of my default, but let me change it up a little bit. And so, has anybody here been to Calmatas? Calmatas in Brentwood? Yeah. And
No, I haven't.
you haven't?
No, I thought you were talking about Kalamata olives.
Yeah. Well, I think that's what it's after. But it's a wonderful restaurant here, and this actually did a long time ago. And I loved their salad, so of course I was on all recipes trying to figure out how I can make at least something close to it. And I've learned that making your own salad dressing is really easy. And it lasts forever because it's just oil and vinegar and just different variants of the spices, so you don't have to really worry about the shelf life of it. And again, we're kind of just creatures of habit. We only kind of usually go to like 3 different types of dressing, so why don't you just make your own, and it's a lot cleaner. It's probably a little bit more affordable too. But I made a Greek tuna that I'm used to grabbing the wild-caught tuna, and then it's basically like a Greek salad, but with that dressing as well, but it's just not with the lettuce. And so you could actually serve this in either a lettuce wrap or like a sprouted grain pita, however you wanted to. But then the rest of your lunchbox, keep the same. Because especially if you're trying to like ease kids into different foods and stuff, it's so much easier if they have some safe foods, ones that they're familiar with and they know they like, and then they're a little bit more, okay, I'll give her some slack and I'll try that. So I'm gonna let you guys try this. You guys have your little cups. Okay, so I'm just gonna let you guys pass this around. Is that okay? I don't have a helper today, so.
So what do you have in there? Feta cheese?
So I have feta, purple onion, cherry tomatoes, cucumber, and I went easy on the olives because I know so many people, it's almost like 50 people. Who likes olives in here?
Is there an extra plate?
Oh, sweet.
Yeah. Sorry, I don't.
Oh, you're fine.
I thought I missed it coming in.
It's okay. Let me
You
use
said
some more
you
stuff.
use wild-caught tuna?
Yeah, Kroger actually now, hang on one second, I need this thing. Kroger actually now has a wild-caught tuna line. And it's just where it's not even in the healthy section. It's where all the regular tuna is. Grab that.
I think it was like real know they were plastic.
Yeah, aren't they
Like,
cool?
Real baby seeds or something.
Where did you get these food from?
Do what?
Where did you get these food
Kroger.
from?
I actually don't shop like at Whole Foods or anything like that a lot. To me, it's in my life, and I feel like for most people's life, it's kind of unrealistic to go to like so many different stores.
Yeah.
You know, so I try very hard to either Amazon or try to just keep it local. So
And Whole Foods is more expensive than most stores.
it is, if you guys want some. So I was thinking you could pass this and just put however much you want in your thing, and yeah, just pass it along.
I never
Sure.
even thought to eat tuna without mayonnaise.
I know, neither did I.
Funny, that's what you're
Because we don't think outside of our little,
Right,
well, how else do you do it? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and so it's just, but I just changed like one thing, but it actually changed, turned into a lot of, and so now I've had that like on a bed of greens, or I've had it in a pita, or just a wrap.
Now, was this like something at Kalamata that you had?
No.
No.
No,
Okay.
I just went, shopping online, I was like, what else can I do with tuna? So I did like tuna recipes.
Okay.
And that's kind of what I came up with. And don't feel like you guys have to eat it. There was somebody last time who did not like tuna at all. And I've actually now since then tried it with just like chopped chicken. Some people are totally fine with chicken in a can, so if tuna's not your thing and you want to do it, almost tasted exactly the same. Like I had to take a couple bites because I was like, I did get her, I was so afraid to get mad. I was like, is this chicken, right? Because I couldn't really taste the difference, but yeah. Okay, has anybody does anybody ever do salads in a jar?
No.
You
Like
do?
a whole salad in the jar.
A
Seen
whole
it on the magazine.
salad in a jar.
That's what my daughter prefers for lunch.
Really? Fifth grader? Fifth grade? Yeah.
I have a, Pampered Chef makes a plastic one
Mhm.
where you can put the dressing in the lid, and then you put it off, and you don't have to have the dressing at the bottom. You can, of
Right.
course, but
Yeah.
But yeah, she loves to do that. So
Cool.
yeah.
And so do you pack like a little bowl?
No, she eats it right out of the. She just shakes it up.
Yeah.
And then.
So you loosely
Fork.
pack it then?
I do. I loosely
Okay.
pack it.
I was like, you'd have to.
Yeah.
To kind of be able to.
Mhm. It's kind of a big jar though too. So.
Is it like a
but,
fatter one?
It's kind of. It has like a little bit more square sort of shape to it, but it's got a round top. I guess it's sort of like that though.
Huh. Cool.
But yeah.
Yeah. You can do so much with this. And one of my big pet peeves with salads, one, I know we're supposed to eat more veggies, like all the time, right? Veggies, veggies, veggies and everything, in order to get what we're supposed to get in. But I feel like salads are a lot of effort for a salad. And I know that's a mental thing. A lot of this whole health journey is just a mental thing. Get over it, sister. Make yourself a salad, right? But what I love, love, love about salads in a jar is if you pack them right, thank you. You can keep them up in the fridge for 4 days. So I just have to say, okay, I'm just chopping for about 5 more minutes longer than I would for making one salad. And then I have 4 salads for the rest of the week. You put them in the back of the fridge, so the temperature stays more consistent that way. And they last for 4 days if you do the layers right. And I'll show you guys the layers. Now with salads, of course, you can really change it up with salad dressings, but be like aware of, bad ingredients or super, super high sugar. I always tell people when you start eating like salads, just measure it out, 2 tablespoons, because it's so, especially if you're trying to have like a monster salad just for lunch, it's easy to, put a 4th cup on that thing. So just measure it out at first. This is, I love balsamic vinegar. My mother-in-law hates balsamic vinegar. So I was trying to, find that balance. Well, my foodie friend, she introduced me to this balsamic dressing where they soak figs in there. And they soak it for like months. You know how they have time to do all that. And it pulls out the flavor of the fig, and you get the balsamic too. And so that, I was like, that sounds amazing. Like I want to try, and it's very good. And so that's kind of what I'm doing for this example here.
Did you make that one?
Huh?
Is that one you bought or made?
This is the one I bought. I just kind of keep a lot of things in mason jars.
That's cute.
Okay, so for the layers, you want the dressing to be on bottom, and I'm not measuring here like I just told you guys to do. So that has to go on bottom. The second one you need to do is like hard veggies, the veggies that won't absorb the dressing. Even meat will absorb, berries will absorb. So this one I usually actually put like purple onion on top because this one can get kind of sweet because I'm having strawberries, blueberries, so I'm missing actually a layer on this one. So I would put my hard veggies down. And the second one, that's where you put like your soft veggies too. So, or your fruit. So put that there. And I didn't want to overdo you guys on purple onion because I think everything I serve y'all today has onion in it. Do that. And then the next one is where you put your proteins. I'm gonna put the chicken, but if say you're a vegetarian, like you can totally do beans too. Any type of like garbanzo beans or black beans, it'll be totally fine that way too. Even if you wanted to have some type of, or if you had some type of salad that has grains, like quinoa, or maybe you're having like a taco salad, and you're gonna put like some rice on there. This is where you would do that as well. This isn't working out for me very well. Okay. And then after that, so you're just really putting all your toppings that you would want on there in that order, and then you just stuff it. Unless you're doing it like you know. Yeah, but I mean, you gotta do it how your kid will eat it.
That's true.
And then you just stuff it with whatever greens you want. For this one, I prefer spinach, just because it's lighter. You could do any kind of greens that you want, that you prefer. And probably do even a little bit more than that. The less air is the better. So if you don't want to stuff it down, just kind of make sure you don't have a lot of air. And there you go. Then when you're ready to eat it, you just turn it over, and then the dressing gets covered in it, and you just mix it up, and there you go for 4 days. So it's like, this is kind of how it is in my kitchen at first, or like when I'm making these. Okay, everything's chopped, all of my mason jars are clean. Let me just stuff them, and I don't have to worry about it. Write it down so I don't forget it. I always tell people when you're prepping ahead of time, make sure it's glass. Because even if it's something you love, if it's in something you can't really see, you're just gonna forget. You're gonna waste a lot of money that way. So, okay, y'all wanna try it?
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Okay. I will make y'all one. Nope, wrong one. And don't go back. I brought like a very small serving here. We didn't know if anybody was gonna show up. So I started with a little bit, but I have more if we need to make more. I want everybody to try it and try the dressing as well. And again, at the, after this, I will send you guys the link to this. There was a really cool place in Franklin it's not Olivia Olive Oil, I can't remember, Olive Vitality or something. Like right whenever I discovered it, they closed down. I was really bummed. But that's where they had this. And so, now you can get it online. Last class, I was like, oh, just swing by. It's right there, but they closed down. Oh, and also walnuts on this one. So this one is actually a complete meal. You get carbs, protein, and fat with this. Bring this up a little bit. What questions y'all have so far?
I have a question.
Yeah.
What do you do for protein in the morning? How do you incorporate it in your breakfast? Or like specifically for my instance, my kids' breakfast as I get them out the door. I don't want to always give them bacon and sausage, and that's
I know, like it gets a lot, and some people, glaze over when I say this, but just like be an open mind. But it gets a lot easier once you stop only limiting yourself to like bacon and eggs and sausage. Like, you really just have to have anything and everything. Like, we all love, or most people love, like breakfast for dinner. Well, we just gotta learn to like switch it around. Like, if it is just like barbecue chicken, just give them some barbecue chicken and like a piece of fruit. Like, I've even done that. But sometimes, a lot of times, it's like smoothies, or I'll give them oatmeal, but I will have like flaxseed in there. I'll put maybe a little bit of protein powder in there, just to not make it so carby, and to last, to last longer.
Is that how you get your protein in your smoothies? Do you put flaxseed?
Yeah, flaxseed or chia seeds, or, I like the Vega protein. I like the Vega protein like natural, because it's just plant protein, and then we get to flavor it however we want. It's not like chocolate, a whole box of, or a whole tub of chocolate, or just strawberry sort of thing. So that's kind of how it works at our house. Yeah, we eat whatever you want for breakfast. It's not, because give me personally, like 2 days, and I'm so over eggs. I've had them scrambled. I've had an omelet. I've had, there's only so much you can do with eggs. And then we just started just eating anything we technically wanted, not like, quote, breakfast foods. Make sense? Yeah. But the first time I ever heard it was from Dr. Alan Christensen. He was like, just have chicken for breakfast. I was like, chicken? But again, I learned, like, that's just a mental thing that says, I can't have chicken for breakfast. And I was like, oh, I guess I can. It still tastes good. Like, it's just not what I'm used to. And then breaking out of, like, what I'm used to. And now I'm the weirdo that tells people eat chicken for breakfast.
I've done chicken quesadillas with like a whole tortilla, cheese, chicken, and black beans for breakfast.
That'd be good.
And then they
Yeah,
go through
that sounds
phases
good.
where they'll eat it for a while, they love it, and then they kind of want to go to something else.
Right.
Now that I'm thinking about it, that gives you, I guess, 2 forms of protein.
Yeah. The beans. You said beans, right?
Black beans, yeah.
Yeah, the
Black
beans and the meat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good.
And they can do it.
Yeah.
My kids just grab cereal, and I'm always looking to give them some protein as well, in addition to cereal. So,
And sometimes you have kids that are finicky. They don't want meat.
yeah.
Some kids only want to eat, and then you have other kids that won't touch the meat unless you beg them. So just like sneaking things in sometimes for both sides, ones that love it, ones that don't. You're a parent. That's when you become sneaky and lie to your children about Santa Claus and everything. It's like, why stop there? Why stop on the holidays? I'm gonna again let you pass this around. Now you have to dig for some of the ingredients. I think I got it wet enough so you guys could actually taste the this thing. Dressing.
So when you eat that, do you just turn it upside down, let
Yeah.
the dressing kind of drain? You don't like shake it? You just turn it upside down and then put it on a plate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's how I do it.
Right.
She had a great idea too, just to make it smaller and looser, and then you could shake the mess out of it. And I guess you have to have a long
But she
fork.
probably eats it out
Yeah.
of the, she eats it
She
out
has
of the
I just sent her with like a fork from home, I'm going throw this away.
Yeah, right.
Right. But yeah,
She eats it.
Yeah.
Because
she eats it.
5th grade, that's awesome.
The only problem is finding out the right size of lunchbox to send it to school in with the cold pack to make sure that,
Yeah. But once you get it, then you just know that's that's the one you grab.
It is, when you do those.
Right.
Yeah, we've got a lunchbox for the.
Right. When it's
big
salad in a
ones.
jar day, it's that lunchbox.
Yep, exactly.
Right. Yeah, at first it can seem like a challenge, but once you find the perfect one, you're just praying they don't forget it at school. Or,
Yeah.
or lose it. You're right. Yeah. But these are really cool. Like I've seen tacos in a jar. There's one that I want to do that's like ramen noodles, the healthy ramen noodles in a jar, where you do zucchini. Have anybody tried the zucchini noodles here?
No, I want to though.
They're so good, so good. And like, it only takes like, well, this is for a different recipe, but like if you're trying to do like pasta, it takes like 4 minutes sauteing them and they're done, completely done. But with the whole ramen noodle thing, you do the zucchini noodles and you fill it up like halfway, then you put all of your ingredients on top, and like when you're ready to eat it, I don't think it would work for maybe like work lunch, but I don't think for kids, because what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to pour like really hot water or say like chicken broth, and then just leave it there, for it to cook slowly, and then you have healthy ramen. So, yeah, I haven't had ramen since college because it's horrible, but there's still that craving there. I was telling her before I came, like I grew up a fat kid. I grew up eating total garbage and, you know, Doritos for dinner and, you know, that kind of stuff. And so I still have those old faithful cravings of just like, I want to eat junk. But I don't want to, you know, feel like crap or, you know, do that to my body. So I find ways to get my fix and not totally destroy everything. So, okay, last thing. With the whole same idea of, you know, just changing one thing. So maybe you have somebody, maybe it's you. You're the one bringing. If y'all want some more, yeah. Well, I'll be up here if y'all want some. Oh, so if you have somebody, or maybe you, that just really, like, say just loves their turkey sandwiches. Like, I'm really fine. I could eat this the rest of my life. Or maybe ham every once in a while. I've had clients before that are just like, they're totally fine with cereal every day of their life. You know, totally fine with a sandwich every day of their life. But maybe you just know you need to have a little bit more fiber or a little bit more veggies. Then just change one thing. You know, stick with that, because that's like, that's where their heart's at. Like, don't take my sandwich, or, you know, or all is lost. So this is a cool thing. I have on your outline avocado toast, but I just changed it because I just didn't want to do that. Avocado toast is a really good one to take too. You just slice the avocado really, really thin, toast ahead of time, slice it really thin. And the key is just to put a little bit of lemon juice on it. If you want any extra toppings like cumin or sesame seeds, go for it. But then you just get saran wrap and just like press it on there, just barely, because you're just trying to get the air away from it. And that's where you don't open it up in a few hours and it's just this lump of dark mess, you know? Like, it's not appealing, it doesn't seem good. So that's kind of that's the trick with the avocado toast. But I want to do that today. So, has anybody heard of Texas caviar? Yeah?
I've heard of it, but I'm not.
Have you tried it?
But I don't know what it is.
Okay, it's not caviar. You're safe. No fish eggs. I didn't do that. But basically, this is just a combination. Again, I'll pass it around. It's just a combination of black beans, spoon, tomatoes, cilantro, purple onion, yellow bell pepper. I use orange bell pepper in this. Red wine vinegar, olive oil. So you're getting your healthy fats in there. You're getting your, you know, your fiber, your veggies, and just do this as like a side. You know, you can do it like a little itty bitty side. My kids eat it like as like a whole like appetizer kind of thing, and so I also serve them with these. Anybody had bonitos? Do you have bonitos? I love these because corn can be inflammatory to a lot of people. For one, these are made from black beans. Now, if you look at it like calorie-wise and fat-wise, it's going to look really close to just a regular chip, but they're higher in protein, so it actually makes you feel like you're eating a little something more. And so we're all about satiety. If you can have, you know, a handful of chips and you actually feel fuller longer, that's what we want, right? And we don't want to have a handful of chips and feel like we need to eat the bag to actually get our fix. So, all right, I'll give this to you. Just dump some out. There you go. I'll actually give you that. You know, this is for like your little spoons. Oh, or yeah, use the bonitos as a dipping tool. So like I mentioned before, you want, everybody takes pictures of this. What are these chips? Okay, so to make it a meal, so you're not, you can actually last close to dinner, you have to make sure it has protein, carbs, and fat, right? And so with these things, I'll tell you about like what to pair it with. The berry fig salad, that's really everything you need. Now, if you make a little salad, a little one, you know, the volume might not be enough, and you might need a little extra. But if you're just trying to have that as a meal, just make sure it's enough to actually fill you up, because you're actually getting everything that you need in that salad. For the Greek tuna, you could use the bonitos chips if you wanted to. Or you could use like a sprouted pita or, you know, sprouted grain toast. with grapes, because you need a little bit, you know, just your sweet there, a little bit of carb, and like a handful of almonds, just a little bit of fat to go with it. I put the avocado toast on here. So if you do avocado toast, maybe just give them some leftover protein, some red bell pepper dipped in hummus, and some mixed berries, just to make it a complete meal. Give you guys more ideas that way.
So avocado toast is in place of bread, it's avocado?
Oh, no, it's toast,
Oh, okay.
but it's avocado on top of it. Did everybody get this, the caviar? Y'all didn't, okay. We skipped one. Thank you so much. Yeah. That's kind of how to pair it, so you'll know that if you're doing it for your kiddos, they're not going to be starving with just one thing or that kind of thing. That is all I have for you guys.
That's good.
What do you think? Give me the pros and the cons, because I need feedback. What do y'all think? What was the best thing you tasted? I guess they're so different. Sometimes it's hard to.
I think the surprising thing that I liked the most was actually the tuna concoction.
Yeah.
I don't usually venture in that direction, so it's cool.
Yeah, I thought it was good myself actually, and I did the same thing when I first tried it. I had the like squinty one eye. Not too sure about this, but I was like, oh, it could be okay. Yeah.
So I have a question. When you're talking about a little bit of fat in a lunch, do you mean like nuts or
Yeah.
like what are some
Well,
healthy ways to have a little bit of that in a lunch that you have?
it could be like this. There's olive oil in this. If you have any,
Something with olive oil.
something with olive oil or any kind of nuts. You know, I know sometimes if you're thinking kids, almond butter and apples. You know.
Yeah.
I like if you have like an older teen, those pistachios now that they like, and they have like sweet chili lime and all kinds of, stuff to kind of make it different a little bit. If any kid likes olives, like that's one of an after school snack for one of my clients. They just pop like 3 olives, and that for several holds them over until they get to dinner. I am new to liking olives, so at first I was like, oh, I'll have to find something else. but now I'm starting to like olives a little more. Yeah. No, good question though.
So what does a typical lunchbox for one of your children, one of your younger children look like when they're going to school?
Something like this. I will give them wraps, like on sprouted grain, do like sprouted grain wrap with hummus and like turkey. One of them likes tomato, one of them doesn't. That's one thing I do. Apples and I actually do I used to do apples and peanut butter. Now I'm transitioning to almond butter, so I mix almond butter and peanut butter together, and then so eventually we'll get to almond butter. But they do the same thing too. This isn't peanut butter, and I'm like, just try it. And they're like, okay, but it's not completely going straight to almond butter. Trying to give them some help there. With the little ones, I do tuna and a pita. With my oldest, he'll do tuna and celery. I actually I'll put celery sticks in a baggie, and then I'll drop some lemon juice in there. And by the time he gets to lunch, they taste like lemon sticks. They've absorbed it, and it's really cool. I don't know if you like lemon, which my family really likes lemon. They're like lemon sticks, and so he really likes to dip those in that way. I'm trying to think. We do leftovers a lot. I have a little thermos. I just dump that in there. I give them the Benito's chips and maybe some hummus.
Do you have to get the sprouted grain pitas or tortillas in like a health food section, or
I've seen
I
them
never
in
looked for sprouted
Publix.
grain. So.
Yeah, I've seen them in Publix. I can't say I've seen them in Kroger. I don't do that often. I think they're in Publix.
But that's what you should be looking for, sprouted grain.
The thing with sprouted grain is that, I specialize in digestive health, and I see so many people that have underlying intolerance to gluten and to dairy and to all this stuff. And so with the sprouted grain, remember when we were in maybe 3rd grade, and we had the little Dixie cup, and we put a little bean in there, and like a few days later it comes a little sprout. Well, that's how they're making these grains, is that they're not waiting until it becomes like a full adult size grain. They're taking the little sprout, which is lower in gluten, higher in fiber, and higher in nutrients. So it's not like it's gluten free, but you're getting less of the bad stuff and more of like the nutrients and the fiber. And so again, I try to just eat the best I can. Yeah. So when we're mostly gluten free, but that doesn't mean like gluten free products. We just kind of stay away a lot of gluten products. When I was in undergrad to become a dietitian, what I like to do is I like to experiment with diets. And so whenever I was on my diabetes round in the hospital, I was like, okay, I know the best way for me to help these people is to actually eat like them and shop like them. And so for 2 weeks, I was a type 1 diabetic. I would prick my finger every single time I had to eat. You know, you're just supposed to do it like 3 or 4, 4 or 5 actually times a day before you go to bed, all this kind of stuff. I would take Tic Tacs as metformin in the morning. And then I was having to shop like them. So it's like, at least I could understand when I had somebody who was non-compliant and did not want to prick themselves. I was like, I understand. Like, you start wanting to prick yourselves in other places because your hands are swollen and they hurt. Well, after I did that, I was diabetic for type 1 for 2 weeks, and I did type 2, which is so much easier, for another 2 weeks. And then I had my celiac rotation where they can't have any crumb, anything, any type of gluten at all. And so I did that, and I did it completely the wrong way, because our mindset is to like, okay, no more white bread, we do wheat bread, like the exchange mindset, you know? So it's like, okay, well, no more gluten containing stuff, I'll do gluten-free containing stuff. And I gained like 4 pounds or 5 pounds in like a month. And I was starving, and I was very angry because I wasn't, and now I know what I was doing wrong. It's like all those gluten-free products have like no fiber, no nutrients. It's just this fluff in a package to make you feel like you're actually eating bread. And so that's what my problem was. I wasn't getting fiber. I was eating tons of calories, but I was actually malnourished. I wasn't getting the nutrients I needed. Therefore, my hunger hormone was up, telling me, you're not getting what you need, keep eating. You know, so that's why I gained weight. And so the best way to go gluten-free is to replace all of your gluten-containing foods with vegetables. And so, like, instead of like lasagna, you do stuff like eggplant parmesan. You know, you do the eggplant for your noodles and stuff like that. It takes some experimenting, but again, we're used to kind of our same food. So once you get kind of your staples, you're kind of set that way. And so when we go on vacation, I will go to Whole Foods and get spelt bread, because spelt bread right now has not been messed with genetically. They have not touched spelt bread, and so that's what we kind of go. It's kind of like, and we feel like we're all cheating because it's nice and it's soft and it's kind of fluffy bread. But that's kind of what I do when we're on the road or going on vacation. We have sandwiches, and it's wonderful to us because we're used to the wraps or lettuce wraps or that kind of thing. Yeah. I had somebody in one of my other classes. She's like, but she was in my class to do the gut-brain axis. You know, the connection between our brains and our guts, and how stuff going on in your stomach can actually affect your mood if you can't focus right, or you have anxiety and you don't know why you have anxiety, and that kind of thing. So it was a class on that. We were talking to her about gluten. She's like, but I eat sandwiches, and my kids eat sandwiches every single day. You know, and she was good at like mixing up a kind of sandwich. And I said, well, then just start with half a sandwich. Like, if you just reduce the amount of, you know, bad stuff you're eating, your body is gonna feel a little bit of relief that way. So, like I told her, it's not supposed to be that hard. If you just start reducing something, or say like you're super busy for breakfast and lunch, and all you can really do is focus on dinner, then only focus on dinner. Like, don't overwhelm yourself, because then you're gonna be stressed out to the max, and then it's not gonna, you know, help you that much. So just focus on dinner. You know, I was like, just do half a sandwich and give them an apple for another carb choice, something like that. She was like, I can do that. Yeah. I was like, and then go farther from that. Once you get the hang of that, then just take them one step further. Yeah. So it's my motto. It's not supposed to be that hard.
Well, what is your YouTube channel? Did you say you have a YouTube channel?
I can send it to you guys.
Please do. I'd love to.
Thanks. Yeah. All right. Last
Thank you
question.
so much.
Sure. If y'all want anything else. come grab some if y'all skipped lunch and you needed
Right.
something for the road.
I didn't eat breakfast, so.
Thanks for watching.